Hey guys, what's up? Jack here. Welcome back to the Stack Deck. I decided that every other Tuesday I kind of wanted to do a tier list. So we'll swap off Tuesdays between TCG Card Shop Simulator and a tier list. As long as I keep thinking about tier list I want to do. So this is the Pokemon Mainline series tier list. And we're going to try to go in order. I didn't make this tier list, so I don't know what games are on here. It looks like they added the GameCube and N64 games. But there's no like Rescue Squad or any of that kind of stuff. So first off, we've got our S, A, B, C, D. S means it is the fantastic game. I will always replay it. A means it's a good game. Let's go with, I'm going to make this F. F means I'm never going to play it. I don't like it. C means I like to play it once, but I'm never going to play it again. B is I might play it a few times. A is I'm always up to replay it. S is I definitely will replay it as much as possible. So that's kind of like our little bit of a tier. So first off, we're going to start with Red and Blue. So Pokemon Red and Blue are kind of the originals in the US. It was green and red in Japan or whatever. Now, green had the really iffy sprites on it. Red and blue, I like pretty good. It's got the original Game Boy on it. You had to do the actual, like, there's the Mew glitch or the Mew, like, myth or whatever, where you got to use strength on the truck and all of that. Basically, it's the start of everything. But it's also outdated a little bit. But it's always fun to go back with and see like where you come from, right? This is where like if the move had an ability, it was like if it's an electric move or a flying move, it's a special. While if it's normal, it's physical. And it had that kind of weird split. There wasn't like electric moves that were physical and moves that were special. All electric moves were special. And it had no fairy types in it. It had no steel types. It had no dark types. It's just one of those bare games, but it started the franchise. And for that, I'm actually going to put it in A. It's not an S because it's not the best version, but it is an A. Alright, next after Red and Blue, there's Yellow. Yellow is interesting because you had all three starters. The problem with Yellow is you started with Pikachu. Now, it wouldn't be that big of a deal except Brock is a rock type gym leader and ground type. And Pikachu's not that good for that gym. So you always had to catch like a Pidgey or something, which is also, not very good. But Pikachu followed you around, had little animations and all that stuff. And for that, I actually think Pikachu Edition is S. I really like Pikachu Edition. I thought it was great. Next, we're going to do, where's Gold and Silver at on the list? Let's see. That's so Silver. That's just right here. Alright, Pokemon Gold and Silver. It was my favorite game. My favorite Pokemon game. For a very long time. Like, it would be up here in S tier. It's fantastic. Although, it has some issues. With it being a Game Boy Color game. But it's still a really fantastic game. I'm going to have to put it as above A tier right now. So it's above Red and Blue and A tier. The only reason it's not S tier is because there's a better version. Pokemon Crystal is everything that everything Silver and Gold did. But more. So that's going to be top of A. Now we're doing it in order of the releases. So after Gold and Silver and Crystal came out, I think it was Leaf Green Fire Red. It was either Leaf Green Fire Red or Ruby Sapphire. I don't remember. But Leaf Green Fire Red is the best way to play Kanto. And that means it's S tier. But it's above Yellow version. And then we'll do Ruby Sapphire. I don't know which ones came first. but Ruby Sapphire version. It's Hellman version. You got all of the stuff. It's the 3rd gen. Everything was like, you had new Pokemon. You had Team Magma and Team Aqua. It changed kind of the story a little bit depending on which one you played. And it was really good that way. And I'm going to have to say it's A tier. But I don't think it's as big as Gold and Silver. So I'm going to do it A, above Red and Blue, but below Gold and Silver. Next, we had Pokemon Emerald version, which is S tier. But it's also above all of the rest. So Pokemon Emerald is really good. I enjoyed it a lot. And I'm trying to think, do I want to have this as here? I don't think I do. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to lower everything by 1 tier. But I'm still going to have Emerald as S. Because Emerald I'll replay all the time. Leaf Green, Special Yellow, I'll replay every once in a while. But I'm not going to replay it all the time. B, I'll replay I might replay a couple times. C, I'll just play it once and done. F, I'm not going to replay. So that's kind of like what I'm going to do. Emerald is definitely an S tier though. After Emerald, we got our, what is it? Diamond Pearl. That's Shiny Diamond. Where's regular Diamond Pearl? Where is Diamond Pearl? I don't know. Until we do that, Soul Silver, Heart Gold, S tier. Above Emerald. I think Soul Silver and Heart Gold is the best. I had the notched ear Pichu that you got from the GameStop thing. Well, you didn't get a notched ear Pichu from GameStop. You got a special shiny Pikachu that you would take into the forest, and then you would unlock notched ear Pichu. That is the only Pokemon currently on my Heart Gold Soul Silver cartridges, which I still have with the Pokewalker. But the only Pokemon I have on there is Notched Ear Pichu, because you couldn't transfer it. So when all the other Pokemon got transferred over, eventually leading into Home, Soul Silver and Heart Gold couldn't get rid of Notched Ear Pichu. So that's just forever on the cartridge. And I can't reset the cartridge for that. So those are on there. Although I don't know if you can get any shiny Pikachu or if it had to be the GameStop one. But, Ruby Sapphire, or no, we did Ruby Sapphire. Diamond Pearl is what I'm looking for. Here. So Diamond Pearl, I didn't really care much for these games. I'm going to have to, I'd put it in C, to be honest. I've replayed them like once. I don't care for Diamond Pearl that much. It's not that great. This Palkia doesn't look that cool. Dialga's okay. I didn't care much for the Pokemon at to be in the game. Turtwig and all that stuff is awesome and all that. But I didn't really... It wasn't my jam. Now, Platinum, A tier. I like Platinum a lot. I like the Nightmare Realm of Platinum. I'd probably put it above Pikachu. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'd put it above Leaf Green, Fire Red. The Nightmare Realm is where it's at. The Arceus, the Giratina. It's just a really fun game. I really like Platinum. It's not as good as Emerald, just because it's still Diamond Pearl, and that's not my favorite games. But it's up there. After this, what was it? DS led into... I don't know where the GameCube games go. Or the N64 ones. I'm actually going to do A tier for Pokemon Stadium. Pokemon Stadium 2. I'll do above that one. Let's see, Pokemon XD. I'd probably put Pokemon XD in S. And I don't know about Pokemon Coliseum. I'll just throw that in B. I didn't want to really rank the GameCube games on this list. I wanted just the main, like, go out and catch the Pokemon kind of games. But since they're there, we'll go ahead and throw them on there. Now, after... What was the last DS game? It's Black and White. I know that now. Is Black and White right after Platinum? It would have had to have been, right? Okay, Pokemon Black and White. I didn't really care for Black and White at all. I'm actually going to throw Black and White in F. Black and White, Black 2 and White 2, I thought was also kind of stupid. And I'm just going to throw that in F. I didn't care for Black and White. I need to replay them because I might change my mind now. But I didn't like the monkeys, like all the like you had the 3 monkeys and all that stuff. Having to replay the same 2 games after already playing the 2 games, because they felt like they came out like right after each other, instead of like having that 3rd edition that added more. It just like, okay, well now they got Kyurem, and that seemed like the really own thing. I did like some of the, I guess, what would it be, the story of it, but it just kind of like dragged on, and I didn't care much for that. So Black and White and Black White 2, White 2 or whatever, I would have to say F, but I need to replay them to get a better idea. Let's see, next off is for the 3DS games. I think it starts with Pokemon X and Y. Pokemon X and Y I actually thought was pretty good. I'd put it underneath Platinum. I liked Yveltal. I didn't care much for Xerneas, but I did like Lysander and the story, and I liked the theories that everyone had with the special like Floette and stuff that was actually in the game. It had a bunch of like cool little story beats. It's interesting that you had like a bunch of main like little characters starting the adventure like rivals, but then you also had your name and you also had nicknames that they called you. So that was a really cool feature with it. After that, we ended up doing, what is it, Sun and Moon, I believe? Now, let's do Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire first. I actually think Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire would probably be bottom of S, just because I really liked the Delta episode, which was like the Rayquaza stuff. I like the Megas and the, what is it, Primals and all that stuff in it. They were pretty fun. I don't know. I'd like it better. I don't like it as much as Emerald, but I still really like it. I'm going to put it above XD, just because XD has like Shadow Pokemon, which is cool. But it's not, you know, the other mainline games. I do really like Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. It's just, I still think Emerald's better. I like the old sprite style more. Now I'm going to go Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon, I think, is probably my second favorite game. So I'm going to do that highest tier, right below Silver Heart Gold. Sun and Moon, what I really liked about that was, this is like contrary to what other people believe, or like, so I don't think this is a common take. I think this might be a hot take. But I think the champion in Sun and Moon, being the professor, was the most difficult champion fight I've ever had in a game. It might be because of the team that I had in the game, but I think the professor was a harder to beat fight. And I'm comparing to like Cynthia, wasn't that big of a deal. Lance wasn't that big of a deal. In or whatever his name, like the Geralt or whatever, wasn't that big of a deal. I think the professor was like the only champion that it took me like two or three tries to beat. And I think that's really cool. So that is why I did the professor as the champion. That is why it's one of my favorite games. Now, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, they kind of messed up because your rival is the person that you fight. which is another thing I like Sun and Moon, like it being with a Professor champion. Awesome. The fact that you have to defeat your rival, it just went back to the old formula, and I didn't like that. Now, I'd put it in B, except they also have Ultra Necrozma. Ultra Necrozma, I beat on my first try. I was like so under level. I was like level 40s going into him, and he had like level 70 or something. It's insane. And the reaction of the YouTube community about Ultra Necrozma for the first time is insane. And insane to the point where you had so many reaction videos on Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. You also had like Rainbow Rocket and all this stuff in the game. It's all just super cool. Now, I beat Ultra Necrozma on my first go. Like having to like, I did not know anything about it. I was doing a blind playthrough. Completely blind when I went in. And I beat it with like a Toxapex, like Mimikyu. Like, and then like Cutiefly. Like I had like a combo going on where Mimikyu would like break its disguise and then swap on out to like Toxapex Poison Barrier. And I just had to like let it kill itself basically. And it's a lot of good memories. It's top of A. It's got to be top of A. I really liked it. But it was a really good base game to begin with. It's right there under Heart Gold Soul Silver for me. So, if it wasn't for the fact that they changed the Professor Champion fight, it would have been S. But I think the Champion Professor fight was so out of nowhere when I was expecting the rival. And the fact that it was difficult to beat on the first try. Because every other champion I beat first try, no matter what game it is. First try, I always beat the champion. It's just Professor Kukui. I did not beat him first try, and that's a great memory. Just having to go in like 2-3 times to fight that professor in the champion match. I had to do it. And then when you're the champion, you have to like defend your title, and you fight the other like main protagonists again. It was really cool. It was really fun. Now, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu. It's interesting. It would be like an A. However, that's just because the Pokemon walk behind you and everything. I'm lowering it to B specifically because of the stupid throwing animations. It was so annoying to try to throw the Pokeballs where they fly left and they fly right. And all of that stuff is just super annoying. And I gotta be honest, I'd probably rather play Ruby and Sapphire version again before Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu. It's just the mechanics of throwing the Pokeball annoyed me that much that I would rather go back to Gen 3. And that's crazy. But it's not a bad game. It was just annoying mechanics. Now, Pokemon Sword and Shield. I am currently playing through Pokemon Sword again. It's also the first Pokemon game to have like actual DLC, which is different. It's unique. I do like it though. So Pokemon Sword and Shield. I don't care much for the Shield version because I think the Legendary looks dumb. I think that their looks before the Sword and Shield items are equipped are really cool. The Shield item doesn't look that cool. The Sword item looks okay, but I like the dog versions a lot better. But I do like the story beats. I like going through the adventure, and I really like the DLC. Crown Tundra a little less than, but Isle of Armor was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. And because of that, I'm going to have to do it it's going to be an A. And I'm going to put it under Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. I still prefer Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon to Sword and Shield. But I'm more likely to play Sword and Shield again before Platinum. Just because modern upgrades to the actual formula Just makes it a more bearable game than going back to the DS era. Alright, next. Shiny Pearl, Brilliant Diamond. Yeah, it's Pearl and Diamond. But it looks worse. And you had a limited Pokédex in it. And then you beat the Elite Four and everything opened up. But I don't know. It looks worse than regular Diamond and Pearl, in my opinion. And I still don't like Berry. It was annoying. However, the fact that you can start with like... It's either Jirachi or Celebi. The fact that you can start with one of those and a Mew just for playing Sword, Shield, Let's Go Pikachu, and Let's Go Eevee, that's a really cool mechanic. It's above the other Diamond and Pearl. And it sucks because I'm going to have to replay Brilliant Diamond here after my Sword playthrough. So I'm going to do Pokemon Sword, I'm going to do Isle of Armor, and then I'm going to replay Crown Tundra. After those are replayed on the channel, I have to do Brilliant Diamond. And that's going to be there before Legends Arceus, which I'm going to be doing again as well. Legends Arceus is a fantastic game. It's so unique on the throwing style. The fact that you have to sneak up, you don't have to have a Pokemon with you to catch Pokemon. And then they attack you instead of it. I like also that people ask for Pokemon, you can give them shinies, and it changes the playthrough. You can have like an entire farm, like main village of shiny Pokemon. I liked how you had like Cynthia's ancestor is the only other like boss, I guess, I ever struggled with other than Kukui in Sun and Moon. Legends Arceus is great. I'm throwing Legends Arceus up here. It's right underneath Sun and Moon for me. I'd rather do Legends Arceus than most other things on this list. But Heart Gold, Soul Silver with the acorn balls, the apricorns, the Sun and Moon with how it was just fantastic bringing the regional forms of Pokemon and all that. Legends Arceus is a number 3 for me. If it had better Pokemon choices, I think it would be cool. I think they took Rowlet and kind of made them worse because I don't want a fighting like Rowlet Decidueye. I really like the Ghost Decidueye. Even Typhlosion looks cool, but I don't know. It's just Quilava is always my favorite part of the Cyndaquil line. So, but it is S tier. You know, I really liked it. I really liked it a lot. Next, Scarlet and Violet. Scarlet and Violet are some of the ugliest Pokemon games. They're the ones that perform the worst as far as like lag and like all this kind of stuff. Also, I didn't like the look of the legendaries. The boss mode or whatever of Miraidon looks awful. A lot of people have mentioned what they look like. And Koraidon looks cool except when he has like the wheels. So those are some big issues, along with all like the performance issues, like I've been saying. Now, with it is they still have the raids. The raids are... I like the raids better because you're a guaranteed catch. Unlike Sword and Shield where it wasn't guaranteed. Now, if Sword and Shield had guaranteed raid, like catches, then it would have made the Crown Tundra better. Because the Crown Tundra, the only issue I had was recatching the legendaries. Is they weren't guaranteed. You'd spend like 2 hours going through this dungeon and everything to maybe not catch the legendary at the end of it. And that's the thing that I didn't like about Sword and Shield. So the fact that the raids are better in Scarlet and Violet are good. Terra types are interesting. I don't like Terra types as much as like Dynamax, but I still like them. They're okay. The issue with the Terra types is just, it looks crystal and it's kind of an annoying look for the Pokemon. I don't want to see the giant ring above them and all that stuff. Now let's go with, so right now, just for base game, it would probably be right there with Sword and Shield. like slightly above it. The thing that changes it is DLC. So with DLC, you got Teal Mask. Teal Mask is up here. Like, I'd put Teal Mask like number 1, number 2. And then the Blueberry Academy stuff, it's a little bit worse. My only problem right now is, do I put Scarlet and Violet above or below Arceus? Because you got pros and cons. Arceus is a better game overall. Scarlet and Violet has more content. Arceus plays a lot better. I will say this. The one thing that I will put, reason I'll put it above Arceus is specifically because of Steel type Pokemon. The Steel type Pokemon in the game look magnificent. Like they got like a shine, like a glimmer to them. Go look at a Scizor in the game or a Fortress. Especially like the shiny versions where they're gold, like on a Fortress specifically. Like it used to look like piss yellow and it looked really bad. But now it's just shiny metallic gold and all that stuff. Or you got the metallic red on the Scizor. Almost like Kratos because that's how I nickname him. But the metallic colors of the Pokemon look amazing. And there's so many good Pokemon added to it. I like the new Pokemon added to Scarlet and Violet more than I like the regional forms in Arceus. Especially the legendaries in Arceus. Like, you just gonna take away, like, Palkia's arms like that? Nah, Scarlet and Violet above Arceus. But that's my list. Let me know why you disagree in the comments down below. Let me know what you think is better. Am I giving Black, White, Diamond, and Pearl a little bit too of a harsh look into it? You can let me know down below as well. I'd like to know your actual comments, what you think. What would your list be? If you've made a tier list on YouTube, dude, let me know down below to go check out your channel. Alright, I will see you all next time. Hit that subscribe button and don't forget the game. Like a god. Peace.